you're in the startup mode or even before the startup mode, there are going to be series of expenses that you're going to incur while you make this decision, do I want to take this venture, the next step. Those expenses are deductible. So one of the easiest things or ways to track them is in an Excel spreadsheet. My suggestion is a date, the dollar amount, and a brief description of what it entailed. And sit down with your accountant and let them help you make that decision whether this is a deductible expense or not. You might be a little too early to say step into or venture into QuickBooks or FreshBooks or Xero, I think is another one that's out there. These are all online subscription-based accounting systems that can help. But the main thing is tracking those expenses. Usually recommend using one credit card, for instance, or using a specific bank account. Even if it's personal in nature initially, go down to your bank, set up a new bank account, and then you're going to run all your prospective startup expenses through that one bank account. That way you can trap those expenses. You don't have to, a year from now, unfortunately, peel back and look and say, okay, my personal bank account's okay, this is an expense, this is an expense. So hopefully that answered your question, but keeping track of the expenses is sometimes the more difficult aspect of it.
Can I piggyback off that for a second?
Yeah.
Remember I was talking about the corporate veil that's put up between you? That if you do set up an LLC or a corporation, one of the ways that you can breach that veil is by commingling funds. And if you have one bank account set up for doing all of your business items and your personal items, the court can look at that and say, you know what? There is no difference between you, the company, and you, the person. Therefore, your personal assets may be on the hook if there were ever something to happen. So yeah, I'm just going to jump off that from a legal perspective and say it's just, if you're going to start a business, whether you're doing it on your own to start off with, or you do create that legal entity, I highly recommend you get a separate big business account or a checking account that you can just focus on making sure that all your expenses and your revenue runs through that one account. Keep it as separate as possible.